really good teams just take wins on red side versus teams that they're typically weaker than. Honestly, we would have expected IG to take wins on red side and kind of just 3-0 their way through, but RNG have rewritten the expectations, and I think that IG are beginning to, unfortunately, lower their expectations just overall. A loss versus NIP, I think, was understandable but not expected. A loss versus RNG in any capacity is neither.
IG is scared with this Pantheon ban. That shows me these guys are quaking in their boots at the potential power of Milky Way. We are seeing a very rare Kalista actually get through the ban phase and be first picked by IG.
So, expected responses to be an Ashe at some stage. Whether or not RNG wants to take 2 other priority picks from the other area of the map remains to be seen, and I think that's something that they could certainly look for. There's a couple junglers that have still been left open. Whether or not they want those, remains to be seen. But the AD carry match, what we'd look for, Jhachi nicely to take the Varus, I suppose, with a little bit more lockdown. Typically, I prefer the Ashe, but if you're going to pair it up with a Neeko, it starts to make a lot more sense.
Yep, good takeaway from IG, but this does leave the ever-powerful Kalista Renata open if IG wants to move over to that. Remember, this is a 2v2 and really 3v2 menace with the ability to bail anybody out on a dive, even with the turrets being a little juiced up this season. I would not be too surprised to see it picked up here.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the bot lane duo that they're looking for, probably just holding time to see what else they want to pick. For me, the fact that they've taken Neeko early doors, they were expecting this Renata to come in. They're anticipating that they're going to have to play against this bot lane duo, and they've drafted what is an obnoxious bot lane poke duo anyway. Typically you'd want to try and lane swap versus Kalista Renata, but I actually think that Varus Neeko, if they're able to keep range, can bully this bot lane duo out. So maybe it's Gala Mako who just need to weather a couple of early levels and see if they want to look for a lane swap themselves.
Are we even sure it's a Varus Neeko? There's always a chance that this Neeko goes into the mid lane. We're seeing the junglers getting picked up here as they're going to put Jeje on to this Nocturne, which means that we'll likely see an Orianna ban in the second half. And Rookie, with a pretty legendary Orianna, I wouldn't even risk giving it to the guy.
No, I mean, that makes one of the bans a little bit easier than you'd like to think for RNG. Take the Wukong here because they know that if they let that through to second phase, it's probably going to get banned away. And we'd like to see this RNG composition still have that bridging capability through the jungle. So far, they've got some really strong mid-game power in the Neeko, in the Wukong. Those team fights are going to be devastating. And whereas we look at the IG roster so far, also quite geared toward that early game. The Kalista super powerful when you're looking to take those objectives early on. Nocturne, after level 6, can get on Varus and get on Neeko, and there's not a lot of tools that those champions individually have to keep themselves safe.
One thing about this Nocturne pick is that Jeje didn't really look that good on it the last time they played against NIP. He had a lot of problems, was using his ult very defensively. I think his first ult came at level 8, and then his first 2 ults were defensive ults, and then his third one was a 1-for-1. This is not what you want when you pick a Nocturne. So he's going to really need to step up and right his wrongs from the NIP series, or else IG is going to be in the same exact spot that they were in against NIP. Taking a look at these other bans coming through, the Gnar off the board. I think that's a really good one. Gnar would be so good for RNG. Aurora getting taken out too. Champion is just very strong, especially with Nocturne.
Yeah, so already double mid bans focused from RNG. I mean, maybe this Neeko is going into the mid lane, but more likely is that they're setting themselves up, first of all, to remove the Nocturne pairing, but that they're looking for something that just has a little bit of a tough time versus the Aurora as well. I do think that RNG, if they aren't going to put the Neeko in the mid lane, do still need a bit of power down on or in the magic damage front, I should say. So if the Neeko goes support, they want something else that does magic damage as well to probably slot into that mid lane. But there is preserving the flex, which I really like. They are showing top lane, means that we're going to get to see the Shy go for a counter pick opportunity versus the Udyr. But we need to see whether or not RNG commit to Neeko mid, Neeko support, and they've held it till 5, so they're going to get all the information that they need and that IG can give them.
I think a commitment to Neeko mid would look pretty good depending on what IG picks, because I think an R5 rel for RNG would go really hard here into this composition. Obviously, you have to worry about the Renata dropping the ultimate down and causing a lot of chaos between everybody. But, when you have the Nico and you have the Wukong, you may as well just rip it.
Okay, so what they've got now, IG, is a full send composition, right? They've got
Yep.
5 divers effectively with the Renata ulti over the top. Disengage becomes king,
Be
so
good.
whether they want to
Yeah.
take that in support or in mid lane, that's their choice. I do think that if they do take something like a Braum, they're going to get absolutely dumpstered in the laning phase, though. So you keep this Nico so that their lane is powerful, and then you pick a mid laner who can do something to keep themselves safe. They need some self-peel. You can't be locking in something immobile, and the Azir seems to fit that brief really nicely. Gives them that consistent DPS threat, which also allows Jiachi to open into lethality Varus as well, which keeps him even safer in the laning phase because he doesn't have to step up to try and auto-attack the Kalista. I think that the Azir and the Varus combo is something that we have seen a little bit more of in previous seasons, but having it come back for today and for this game specifically works with RNG.
The pressure's going to be on Tongyuan here, Rudude, because you mentioned he's going to be the one to disengage these fights. And he's going to have to play better than he did on that Yone in the last game. These Emperor's Divides are going to be key. And I think in this game, RNG will live and die on the cornerstone of their franchise player.
Yeah, and I mean, there's the emphasis there comes from how well those Emperor's Divides are executed, but I do think that there are some really good tools also left in jungle and support. So Lele on this Nico, a champion that upon first release, we were sort of saying, wow, this champion does really well when champions walk into her because the Pot Blossom, catches everybody off guard. Now has turned into this champion where we've recognized that we can use Proto Belt, we can use it to engage as well. But that doesn't mean that she's bad at disengage anymore. If champions are flying into you and you just get the free ulti, that's perfect. And even just holding ultimate as well can be so impactful as a zoning tool for Lula. That's a chance and an opportunity that they've got in these fights that can just thwart the entire composition that's been drafted by IG.
The simple threat of it, because you're knocked up for like a half second, right? That's enough time for these great players to decide, hey, I'm going in on Azir and scoop them up. And one thing that I've really liked from all of the LPL supports that have played Nico, I think that all of the LPL supports have piloted Nico really, really well to start the year. Great plays aggressively, great plays defensively when need be. So I'm looking for another good performance here.
Okay, 5 people are top lane. IG have already cooked here. Yeah, they saw someone.
Well, there's only a couple people here. And there's many
Comet.
more up there. Oh, no, bro.
Goodbye. Yep, so they scout out the lane swap. Gala gets first blood as well, so boots on a Kalista to go into the laning phase. Definitely something that they'll be happy about. And lethal tempo on the Kalista, Hail of Blades on the Varus there, so want to take note of that. Again, opting towards the lethality style, so again, when we move into the late stages of the game, you are looking at Tongyuan to be the consistent DPS threat. With that lethal tempo on the Azir, you definitely want to see that pop off.
Rudude, this is the equivalent of playing games with your little brother.
Yep.
And the little brother, gets the best of the big brother for one game, and the big brother goes from leaning back into the chair, into the gamer pose. The back is hunched. They're locked in. Their forearms are on their knees and the controller between their hands. Because IG
and ready.
Yeah, IG said no more of this BS.
Oh.
We're winning this game.
I think RNG have said the same.
Turnabout is fair play. The little brother has tricks up the sleeve. The heal and the flash expended.
Okay, so really, really important here. Mako lands a crucial handshake, which keeps Gala from having to burn cleanse and honestly keeps him alive. The idea that we get a double stun, so handshake on one, which stuns both Lila and Jiachi, keeps the Kalista not just alive in this instance, but also able to lane, which I think is very important. With enough HP so that they can step back up. Yes, it doesn't mean that, or yes, it means that this bot lane is now going to be a little bit weaker and those trading patterns are going to be a lot more harder to come by, but it means that they can stick around, absorb XP, and don't have to tank a recall super early on.
And while Gala did get that first blood, it's only a dagger, so if they maintain control up top, could be a prime opportunity for Milky Way and RNG to grab the first set of grubs. One thing that I've noticed, and I want your opinion on this, in jungle matchups like this, where Wukong, will farm till 6 sometimes, but can make plays before that against a jungler like a Nocturne that's always farming till 6. It feels like a lot of the game is dictated by what can the ganking jungler like this Wukong, who can do both, do between levels 1 and 5.
No, absolutely. I mean, there is a burden of execution on Milky Way in the early game to force his advantage, right? If you have an advantage through certain levels, you want to use that. And if that's not being exploited, then that's something that, is going to be absolutely fine for JJ to move his way into this mid-game with level 6 and feel confident because he's not been punished so far. What comes from... or what you'll find specifically with Nocturne compositions, though, is you really want to look towards the lanes that are around the Nocturne, because as Milky Way, I would love to be looking for invades, see if I can steal away a camp here, delay that level 6 by just that little bit longer. How much can my laners give me for me to be able to invade? Because in competitive League of Legends, you can't just invade on a whim and see what happens. You need the support from your team.
Speaking of getting support from the team, the Shy will cede the bot lane wave to Gala and Mako as they head their way down. The Shy will burn teleport to go up top and scoop that wave for himself.
And now matched response down on the bot side, so RNG, they bring down their bot lane and they're kind of chasing their tails a little bit here, so they are constantly just missing out on a couple of minions, whether they're melee or ranged either side. Every time that this swap comes through, and it relies on really good communication between your players. So the Shy and Gala constantly communicating, okay, I'm going to push this wave and then I want you to recall, and then we're going to swap our lanes back again. Importantly though, with the Shy TPing top to catch that big wave, he actually didn't get a chance to reset beforehand. Now, he was playing on, is able to purchase his items out on the map, but didn't get that resource top off that we maybe would have liked to see.
Rookie taking a tower shot there. That'll take him quite low. As Tong Yuan doing what he can to try and poke him down.
Fancies it. You can see he's posturing very aggressively, and has got level 6 in the core or in the next wave. So we're waiting to see whether or not that was going to be a window to all in. But I think Rookie has diced with death about as much as he feels confident doing. But the Tong Yuan champion or mana pool, excuse me, is actually a little bit too low for him to feel confident. And Rookie now the one able to push in a wave, forces TP out from the Azir.
Ooh.
Never mind. Aha. I'm lying again.
Hey, listen, you know what? It felt like one of those decisions where he's like, I could, but I don't want to miss the minions. I'll stay, why not? There's surely nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and I mean, not really going to get punished either way. Looking at the map, though, look at where Rookie's actually walking to. Moves his way down to the bot side. We can see the bot lane for IG already looking to take those resets. Guess what's spawning top side? It's those grubs. Gala's moving his way up. They're looking to make a play and find an advantage there.
Rub-a-dub-dubbing as Mako takes his back, and he'll head over to the top quadrant. We're seeing matched from the side of RNG. Lila took his back, and Jachi is heading toward the mid lane. But remember, Tong Yuan, he hasn't gone back yet, so he's going to be teleporting in, and these grubs are already on the map. And Milky Way has started them up. JJ is here. Teleport coming in from Tong Yuan will now get him over, just taking a little bit of time.
So Rookie TPing in as well. He comes from the bot side. It's going to be a full 5v5 once again on the top side of the Rift. Lila, not level 6, not even close.
Yeah, there's going to be a weird pincer. Gala is the one who gets caught in a 2v1, has to burn his cleanse as they're jockeying for position over these grubs. Second one goes to Milky Way, and the rest of RNG says, we just disrupted it. You can have the other one.
Okay, so the small win here for IG is that they caught a wave in the bot lane that wasn't actually picked up by RNG. So now a teleport goes down to the bot side. That's Xiaoshu who's making his move down there. The Shy.
There we go. That's a nice play made onto the Shy. He's going to flash, use his charge, as well as... There we go. Yeah, it's exactly what you're looking for. Small incremental wins.
And getting the flash out of the Shy, not the biggest summoner spell, it's worth saying, but there's a very small window now where they can look to punish the Ornn before anything else happens on the map. There's a Drake spawned. Obviously, that might be the next play that teams are looking for, and I think that because Milky Way committed to that play on the top side, actually loses out on tempo looking for that Drake. JJ didn't opt to start it up. Instead, just poked his head around, got the crab, but not feeling confident enough to try and take that fight. Is level 6 on the Nocturne, so, we're looking for that first ulti. How powerful is it going to be? Whether or not they can find any fights inside the jungle to zone them off.
There we go. Yeah, they're just going to go right in, forcing the flash out of Jachi.
Nice and early.
Milky Way isn't going to be able to get this Gromp, so he's still level 5 for right now.
Yeah, not quite sure where that's gone wrong, but Milky Way down on experience. He's going to be able to get it. Just needs one more camp. And you steal a couple of the wolves. He's going to tick over to level 6, and that makes their fight around the jungle a little bit better. But the fact that he wasn't 6 there means Zheje feels very confident. Dashing in, forces the flash out of Jiachi. And overall, IG continually, just slowly here, finding themselves very small leads.
And the question is how is IG going to punish the flashless Varus? Because remember, they are on a bit of a timer. The longer this game goes, this will allow Azir to get into the game. So obviously it's a ways away. We're only 8 minutes in, but something to think about as this dragon's still up. You can see Rookie heading down. He looked like he wanted to head down, but he elects to head back to the mid lane. Is Milky Way looking for a lane gank?
Yeah, we'll be able to sneak into this brush without being spotted, and so far no wards on either side. Remember, Milky Way's engage range quite high, deceptively high even, has the clone to buy himself an even bigger range to get into without being spotted, but looks like Gala paying the necessary respect, and they are going to back away. Just a reset to come through for Milky Way, and that Drake's still live, still kicking. Looks like neither of these two teams particularly bothered about it, and like you've mentioned already, I don't think the RNG are particularly needed to force these plays. They've got such a stable front line in the Udyr as the game goes later, and more importantly, they've got such stable DPS as they move later into the game with Tong Yuan's Azir. Will need to step up, will need to perform more appropriately than he did in game number 1, but with the engages that we've already seen from Lula, I think that the chance is there for RNG to just sit back, relax, and maybe find themselves with a pretty good game once again.
Xiaoshu could find himself in trouble in a little bit. Call the Forge Goddess here. So is the bot lane. There's the knock-up. No ultimate going to be used for Zheje yet because it's just coming up. But the Fate's Call lands the knock-up onto the Udyr. Flash forward. Good handshake, too. Now it's how many spears can you skewer into Xiaoshu here. Trying to do the stance dance, but he will fall.
Okay, so first kill in a while picked up by Gala on that top side, and the only kill so far this game picked up by the Kalista. Constantly IG looking for these plays when they've got TP to answer bot side. So again, positive, proactive plays on the map. Great flash forward by Mako. The handshake was instrumental in taking down the Udyr in that instance. And Xiaoshu pays for it with his life, not able to flash away from an important knock-up, let's say. An important skill didn't quite go in their favour. So IG find that second kill, find a couple of plates on the top side as well. And looking down at that bot side also, Jidja looking to start up the Drake.
Yeah, the Grubs have spawned, so it looks like RNG will be able to take these ones without contest. So just a trade of objectives here, Rude Dude. And I like the dichotomy between these two teams, right? The dichotomy between the organizations, the young, homegrown RNG players and IG saying, screw the rules, I have money. And the dichotomy in-game, because they have very similar tools with these two compositions, but IG are using theirs aggressively, and RNG, it looks like they're totally fine with using theirs defensively. They just haven't done them yet.
No, and I want to see just a little more from Lula Milky Way. I think that this duo is going to be what wins or loses RNG this game. If they can make proactive plays, which they have the tools to be able to do, then they've got an opportunity to look for fights across the rift. However, if they sort of sit back, continue this rather passive nature that they've got, our focus rather then shifts to Tong Yuan and seeing how well the Azir can perform.
Oh no, the mismatch backs, and they're taking advantage of the flashless Varus. Great job by Zheje on the Nocturne to pay him another visit.
Yeah, and that's just another instance of, well, my Varus has no flash. I shouldn't ever be crossing over the halfway point of the lane. And Nocturne really punishing for that. And we get to see a great little play come out from IG once again. Constantly just looking at the areas of the map where they've got advantages. The Varus with no flash. Let's look to see how we can punish it. Oh, we've got a time to move up to the top side. Let me see how we can punish that as well. Tong Yuan, you can see already focused out on knowing he has to be the DPS, that he's going to be the one to have to cut through the Shy. Leandri's picked up as first item, so very mana hungry on the Azir currently, but at this stage in the game, we'll be looking to try and cut through some frontline more than anything.
Lola got chunked really hard as Rookie heads to the bottom lane to deal with Xiaoshu. Call the Forge God there, knocks him up, and Xiaoshu is just dead, my friend. Rookie is the one who will pick up the kill. And all of a sudden, IG looks like that well-oiled machine that we expected.
Yeah, roasted and toasted down on that bot side, unfortunately, with Xiaoshu falling for the second time this game, and Tong Yuan may even fall here. Rookie has a good amount of damage despite not having the ulti, and I think that the fact that the perfect execution is on cooldown maybe incentivizes Tong Yuan there to try and step up like that.
Yeah, it's just so scary because Storm Surge, that item will give you a lot of damage, so even a couple of Qs will find you with half HP or less. 13 minutes into the game. No objectives for the next 2 minutes and 40 seconds thereabouts. And Rudude, RNG need to do something, it feels like. I know the scaling is there for the Azir, but they got to make a move.
Yeah, I just sort of feel like their composition is incentivizing them to say, guys, if we just do nothing, Tong Yuan will carry. And maybe that's true, but if Rookie kills Tong Yuan in a fight, that then makes their entire composition fall flat on its face, because they are going to be living and dying by how well the Azir can perform. And if Rookie gets on the backline, isn't challenged, then the Azir probably just falls flat on its face. That's why I've been saying that Milky Way, Lila, these two supporting characters need to perform well also to enable the Azir spacing, to enable space for the soldiers to do their work.
Here we go. Let's give it a shot. Knockups are there. Rookie has to do something in the 2v1. Lila coming through to try to cut him off. He's not going to land the Tangle Barbs, but that Q, the heal as well for the movement speed. That's a matter of, can you actually find the Akali trying to dash away. Now sending them all on a wild goose chase. Tangle Barb still doesn't land. Somebody's going to get him eventually.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's going to Lila, and I think that that's best case scenario for Rookie, so quite happy to just give it over to the Nico. That's shut down onto the support. That's a win for IG. You know that Rookie's going to die there 100% of time, so putting the gold on, theoretically, the least damaging person on this roster, absolutely worthwhile. Yes, it's making the best of a bad situation, but wasted a lot of time. And if we look at what happened on the rest of the map, well, we're able to get a stolen away red buff. We're able to put down just a little bit of control in the topside jungle. And that's all because Rookie was wasting that time.
And, while RNG was able to make a play happen, it obviously went on the member that you really didn't want it on. And now, the thing is, they didn't really burn anything, and Rookie did burn Flash. Obviously, Lila lost his heal. So with 40 and 50 seconds between these objectives, Rookie without a Flash, that is a big deal.
It is, and I think that importantly as well, the fact that Lula kept a hold of the Pot Blossom is going to be really important moving into whichever neutral objective these two teams look to fight over going forward. That's going to be the point that we're looking at, and Lula Flash, probably one of the most important summoner spells in this game. That Nico engage potential so vastly increased when the Flash is available.
It's around this time that we could see RNG potentially come back into the game. But again, IG, if they get some convincing wins here, this one could be over early. Lots of members congregating on the bottom side near this dragon. The top laners are up in their own space. Up there's the Pop Blossom landing onto two members, but the ultimate from the Renata making everybody go crazy. Down goes Lila, and the teleports are here. IG has the backup.
Yeah, Mako with a great hostile takeover there, just zones out the entirety of the follow-up that RNG would like to have put down. That's the single fight win that they need prior to an objective. That's going to secure them this Mountain Dragon, sets them up 2 for 3 on that Feat of Strength marker. They've already got the Feat of Warfare, so it's looking very much like they'll be able to find those Feats of Strength. Whether or not there's a turret that can be claimed just to make it a little bit easier, we'll have to keep our eyes open for. But IG once again, and this time Mako, making the very proactive play that keeps them in the game.
And they have it on cruise control right now. Gala is 3-0, and I'd imagine that when Gala's 3-0, I don't have a stat for it. I wish I did. I want to know what his win rate is when he's 3-0. Let's take a look at this replay. I mean, this is just a great handshake.
Yeah, importantly, Lila misses all of the opening engage or opening CC, and then, like we can see, the hostile takeover catches the two following up, which is ultimately all that was needed. So Tong Yuan able to take out the turret down on the bot side, which is a great boon to begin with, but it's a trade for that Rift Herald. Feats of Strength picked up for IG, so at some stage in the game they'll be able to find themselves some nice juicy boots. However, the first brick going down is not nothing. The fact that Tong Yuan is constantly being funneled all of this gold, we highlighted that given the more passive nature that RNG have gone for, it is going to be eyes on the Azir as to who can carry. And by establishing that gold, giving it to him, that's exactly the type of place that it needs to go. And is the way that RNG are seeming to want to play.
Yeah, RNG has to keep it close for right now, but they are running into a problem. That problem is Infernal Soul. So the first 2 dragons went to IG, and if you're going to keep playing this passive style, I mean, it's just going to give IG an opportunity to secure a 3rd dragon, put themselves on an Infernal Soul point. And once you get that Infernal Soul, I mean, you're going to be doing too much damage that RNG's not going to be able to do anything. And here's that proactivity. They jump on Gala, and the shutdown goes to Milky Way.
And still not flash used there by Tongyuan. That's really important that he keeps his own safety net available too. Yes, we commit with Milky Way, and double ultis are expended, triple ultis even, it looks like, with Jiachi looking to burn the Chain of Corruption as well. But you get the shot. Shield able to find a little bit more. And then the comms here from RNG are to try and keep them interested. Tongyuan has got a long walk up from bot lane to make any form of presence. But then it's Rookie who decides, hold on, that's not allowed. Weaves a incredible shuriken flip through the minions onto Jiachi, who take him down, and that is what opens up the fight. And like you mentioned, by the time Tongyuan is here, the fight's already over, and there's nothing really to be said. Nice.
That's the kind of stuff you get from a veteran in the mid lane. Rookie doing what needs to be done to put IG in the driver's seat. Now a fight over this dragon, 5,000 HP. RNG hanging around. Tongyuan does not have any summoners here, doesn't have his ult either. Dragon is just getting lower and lower. A couple members throwing pot shots on it, but nothing more, as they're just doing the dragon dance here.
IG,
the attack
2
and
seconds
speed
on
of these teams
ulti.
are rising. Let's see what the move is. The Paranoia comes out. So does the Renata ultimate. And the knockup is on to the Varus. And down he goes. The Pop Blossom's only going to hit 1 member. And Rookie is surrounded. Tongyuan is able to get the kill. Now the question is, can Xiaoshu get the hell out of there? But he's skewered like a pig as the Shy will close out on the kill. Tongyuan is full HP. And he wants to go in. Gala's going to fall because Milky Way's healthy too. Zhezhe is low. He's going to get stabbed in the back. And he's bleeding out in the river. He's going to fall. Mako is low. He flashes away. Tongyuan on the other side too. The handshake will keep Mako alive for now, but Tongyuan has the sustained damage. He's chasing after the Shy, and now he wants a piece of Mako. There's no turret left. He's got to get through the Shy first. They're trading blows, and the handshake finally, the full disengage. A 3-for-3 when the dust settles, but RNG have to be feeling good.
And this is exactly what we were talking about. Tongyuan is the carry for this RNG roster. He was left unchecked throughout that fight. And that's RNG, I believe their 15,000th kill in the LPL as an organization. Number 1 in that
Holy
statistic.
Moly.
Incredible milestone for any org to reach. So congratulations for that.
That's
first
awesome.
of all. That is so many kills.
Now, does that count the kills they had when they were Starhorn Royal Club?
I am not sure. I really
wonder.
do not
Anyway,
know.
let's take a look at more important things this replay.
Yeah, exactly. And keep your eyes on Tongyuan in this fight. And more importantly, Jiachi, and see how much he absorbs. He gets Renata ulti, Kalista flash, and the Kalista as well, constantly focusing out the Varus, where really, I think this is going to be a big learning point for IG. That focus needs to go on to Tongyuan in the future. This Azir is the consistent DPS threat. Those constant chips and jabs aren't the important part.
Take a look at picture.
Yeah, we're on Atacon now.
Yeah, Otacon is getting tethered a little bit. He's down to 6,000 HP. Teleport is coming in from Rookie. Here comes Call of the Forge God. It's going to knock up 2 members. They're on top of Milky Way, and he will fall. The knockups are there, too. Here's the Pop Blossom. It lands on the 3, but what can RNG do? The health bars are getting lower because Tongyuan is leading the charge with his army. It's a 5v4. The question is, can RNG pick anybody trying to make their way out? It looks like IG will limp away with the kill they got.
But it's that top turret again provides the bastion that RNG need to stave off any form of aggression from RNG. Yes, they may lose it here, but it keeps them thoroughly in contention for being able to fight for the Atacon in 10 seconds time. Milky Way gonna respawn, and maybe RNG still fancy themselves a bit of this.
Nice trick play there from Lila, and Rookie in the Shroud. He's going to go golden, and he's going to go... Oh! No, he's going to stay alive. They couldn't time it.
Jiachi misses Q, Lula misses Q, important cooldowns that went wide, and now this Atakan becomes just a little bit walk all the way from base to get here. But IG, they still want this. Judge has ulti in 5 seconds time. Call the Forge God not up for another 15, 20 seconds or so. RNG, they've got all the control here.
It's so important that Gala stop doing red buff to haul his butt up here. It's a 5v4. Atakan is getting low. The lights have gone out. Is anybody home? It's secured by Milky Way, and they've turned onto the Shy. Tangyuan with a nice knock up to the side. They find Gala. The Shy will fall. It is now a 5v3. The health bars are a little below, but they have the revives. The question is, does RNG want the Baron? And they've turned on it.
And they've decided that they do. With these withdrawals available, eyes are on RNG to find not just the Atakan, but the Baron buff to boot. TP backing from Tangyuan. That consistent DPS is now in the pit. And turn your attention to Rookie. He's looking for the flank with Jurja as well.
Mako is over the wall. There's the hostile takeover. The Pop Blossom is going to delay it just enough time. And now they're going to turn on Jijin. No, they turn back onto the Baron. It's a 3v2 because those Atakan respawns went through. Yeah, you got a little bit of gold IG, but the Baron goes to RNG. Rude dude, we've seen this before.
And RNG once again come up trumps in the fight. This is another instance of Milky Way outsmiting Jurja. Top side fight around the Atakan. It's a complete 50-50, an absolute flip-flop that once again goes the way of the RNG jungler. Tangyuan zones out 2 members of IG, redirects his attention to Gala, and all of a sudden RNG are in the ascendancy, not just in this game, but in this series. 1-0 up, Baron and Atakan at their backs, and 4 turrets outside of the base to try and crack down. How many are they going to be able to take?
They need to also take this dragon, keep that in mind. I don't know when they're going to do it, but you do not want to give Soul over to IG. RNG has crafted their game plan well enough to be in a position of power with this 4th dragon up. We thought that they were not going to be able to keep their legs steady under them, but they have. The seeds that have been planted by the RNG brass are beginning to sprout, Rude Dude. They're looking good.
And it's some mighty tasty fruit that they are beginning to bear as well. Gold lead now for RNG. They may still be down in gold, or in kills rather, but that gold graph will read for some very sore reading as IG fans. Zhonya's picked up for Rookie, so the stasis, the playmaking capability that he has definitely going to be quite high. I think Rookie's stasis, even in the series versus NIP, were ultimately very, very impressive. The way that Rookie's performing so far in this game really has been the one beacon of hope that I can find for IG. Constantly diving, getting onto Jiachi, taking down the AD carry. Now the presence needs to turn to, okay, who's the actual threat in this game? And the answer so clearly is Tangyuan.
Yeah, I mean, RNG's done a good job of shutting down Gala, but Rookie has had opportunities to roam free. And I think they're just going to keep going after Gala and picking on him. So, as you said, Rookie's going to have to be the guy. They need to find a way onto Tangyuan if they want to win this game, because this guy has been untouched so often. He's got the Seeker's Arm Guard too, which means it's going to be a hell of a lot harder to actually take him down. As this bot inner turret will fall, gold beginning to spill into the pockets of RNG, up 2,500.
So the fake death wore off, so any fights that they take need to be concise, need to be accurate. It looks like with that, just a little bit of gold picked up for RNG. They're going to reset out onto the map with all of that extra gold in their back pockets. Stasis now ready for Tangyuan. That Seeker's Arm Guard, the stasis built into it. Certainly going to be something that, again, adds that extra layer of protection for the Azir. And to touch quickly on, this jungle matchup, coming into today, was looking for a bit of a redemption arc from Jurja. Unfortunately, that just hasn't been met, from getting a little bit overzealous on this Nocturne game to having a very quiet Zyra game in game number 1, and being constantly outsmited all of the important clutch fights and clutch situations that we've seen around neutral objectives. Milky Way has just come out on top.
Yeah, Milky Way woke up today and chose violence because he has gotten the better of Jeje this entire series so far. We're only 2 games in, 30 minutes into that second game here. RNG have turned it around. They've taken the wheel from themselves. Now they just need to steady the ship here. Nice and easy. 2 minutes on both objectives. You know what that means, Rudude? Could be a possibility of a swap, which would be really good for IG if they get the Dragon.
Yeah, a little bit of a trade on either side. And I think that the story for JJ continues as it could be a really sort of sad one at this point, because he was imprisoned in EDG was the sort of running joke, was that he'd been put on a team that didn't have the tools to facilitate him as a player. Moving into this roster with IG, it was supposed to be his time to shine, and now that we've got these really strong pieces of Rookie the Shy and Gala around him, not quite having the performances that we expect, not what we were anticipating from the all-star jungler really coming into this split.
RNG dragging IG around with them, trying to make a play onto this turret. It's very low. Zhezhe in the jungle forces Xiaozhu over to the far side as he looks to chase down Rookie, as they're going to wait for another wave to come in. They are keenly pinging out Rookie, acutely aware where he's at. Handshake onto Tanguin, brings him down to half HP. This is something to worry about.
Yeah, that's a big chunk, and all of Tanguin's HP is important.
The lights are out. They're going to target the Varus. Here comes the call, the Forge God. It's going to knock up two onto the side, but they don't get anybody with the hostile takeover. Lele is golden in the middle of a lot of enemies, but he's forced to flash away. The Shy's been rooted, and the damage is still consistent. Pop Blossom doesn't land onto anybody. Fate's Call knockup is there, and Gala claims the life of Lila.
And in the fights, it's IG that come out on top. A series of misplays from crucial members from RNG cost Lila his life. Milky Way.
The flash, the knockup, they're on to Gala, but he flashes away, and Rookie kills Chachi on the backside. Now the question is, will Rookie escape once again? He needs to get out, and he will, because the teleport and the rest of the squad are here. A cacophony of errors for RNG, because these objectives are spawning. They're down in 80 carry, and guess what? They might get dove under this turret. Yes, you're right, the teleports are here. RNG are stuck on an island. They're marooned.
Fish in a barrel.
They need a way out, and I think the only way out is death. Taeyuan doing what he can, but Gala takes him out. The lights are out. They can't find Gala, but they can find Milky Way. IG have wrestled the game back.
And all they can see is darkness. RNG fumble on the top side. IG come up clutch, defending their tier 2 turret, and are able to take down not just this Baron, but you'd like to think they'll pick up a soul off the back of this as well. Milky Way starts it off so well. Gala's half HP already, but it's Rookie taking down the AD carry, and Gala's survival instincts keeping him at bay. Both of these players for Invictus Gaming so instrumental in this split so far, in any form of success. Finally able to find some in this series. Gala escaping, Rookie escaping, corralling RNG under this turret, and taking them to the slaughterhouse.
What did we say, Rudude? We said they were going to pick on Gala, and that Rookie would have to be the one to get it done. He gets that quick pick on to Chachi, and that resulted in the start of this play, and RNG can't get in, and the soul has been claimed by Invictus Gaming. The damage amplifier has been turned up to 11.
We'll just take a moment, Yanni, to recompose ourselves as IG takes firm control of game number 2. They had a good running for the first 10-15 minutes or so.
They know.
I respect it. Together.
Yeah,
and then through the mid game, RNG, they fought back and they found themselves in a very good position, but IG, they swung that swing right back in their favor. The metronome ticks over to the side of IG. And with the Baron at their backs, it's their job to start doing some structural damage.
The young team cracked a bit under the pressure. They are still in it, but the elder statesman, Invictus Gaming, with an opportunity like this, it's very rare that they let it slip through their fingers. Now they're just trying to really end the game with one explosive fight. You can see the IG members congregating on this bottom inner turret as they take that one out too.
And importantly as well, Have to remember that the engage for this IG composition, it's there with Nocturne plus Ornn. This composition was built to be all in. We'd highlighted it from the draft that they go forward well. So if they want to find a fight, if they want to engage something under a turret, they have the tools to be able to do so. The Shy is, 3.5 at this point items with the boots. He's really, really tanky. Trying to take him down in these fights is very difficult, so the way IG are playing currently is just to collect gold. It's just to establish a little bit of an advantage. Have that wallet diff if any fight does come to bear. But without the base being broken open and without the game having found a natural resolution, odds are, Yanni, we're going for another 3-4 minutes. Are we going to get to Elder? We're going to get to Baron, and all of a sudden those, really game warping buffs become game ending buffs in the Elder.
Lock in, everybody, because we're coming in for a landing, but it's going to be a bumpy ride because despite the fact that IG has the gold lead and they made some plays with that Baron and got those inner turrets and they have the soul, we've seen IG lose games that they should not lose so far this season. This is the hallmark time. Will IG actually be a team that you can respect and get out of this group in the top half? Or are they going to piss it away, Rude Dude? Are they going to go down in the series 0-2 with everything in their hands?
And they've got so much power in this late game as well. They should be able to find a victory from here. The Infernal Soul, the ornament upgrades, all extra bonuses that aren't reflected in the gold lead. So you're looking at the gold at the minute, okay, 3,000 gold, but then every Ornn upgrade is worth another 1,000. Then Infernal Soul, however much extra on top of that you want to talk about. They have so many intangibles in their favour, and yet there is still a piece of us, something in your mind that just suggests to you that RNG aren't out of this one yet. Tong Yuan, we have to point out, is that carry for RNG, and so far this game has been playing to that level.
Yeah, he's shown it for sure. And I think the big reason for trepidation about this IG squad in this game as they take down the last outer turret is they don't siege very well, Rude Dude, and you know what champion's really good against the siege? It's Azir.
And it's a poke virus as well at this point. Anybody who steps up to hit that turret, Chain of Corruption into a piercing arrow, that's 80% of your HP. If it's one of the squishies, can maybe be a little bit more when you've got people following up with the damage as well. So trying to hit the turret as these squishy members, as Gala, is just not particularly possible. You're so scared of getting engaged on by Lily, you're having to press tab on every single wave because there could be an eco in it. You're having to fear for where the Wukong is. Actually stepping up to hit these turrets without proper setup is exceptionally difficult. Tong Yuan leaves the base with a Rabadon's Death Cap. 4-item Azir now.
Well spotted, my friend, because that is going to be the mirror breaker here for this game that is at a complete standstill. 360 CS for Tong Yuan. This Baron is up in 25 seconds. Elder Dragon up in a minute. Oh man, the suspense is killing me, Rude Dude. This could show the direction of the first split for both of these teams.
And let me be clear here. This isn't a game that IG should ever really have found themselves in, nor a series. The expectation coming in was they'd be able to slaughter RNG. They're down 0-1 though, and this all of a sudden became a fight for their split lives, really. Losing this series becomes very, very difficult for them to play out as Rookie. Going deep on a flank. He's on wards, though.
They see him.
RNG are going to see this all the way through.
RNG has to pull the trigger before he can get here. The question is, will they be able to? IG doing well to keep them at arm's length. As Tang Yuan doing what he can to try to clear the wards. They spot out Rookie. The lights have gone out. Rookie's gone golden. Pop Blossom there. It won't get him. He's going to blow up Jaji.
Rookie!
And now he's on to Tang Yuan as well. But he knocks him away. The problem is everyone else has fallen. Tang Yuan is stuck in the back of the pit. He will fall. A double kill for Gala. And Invictus Gaming will knot up the series at 1 apiece.
And the shivers start to dissipate. IG come out with a clean ace to close out game number 2. The series is equal once again. And this is the IG fighting we were expecting. It took them 40 minutes to get there, Yanni, but they find the fight they needed.
The sleeping giants may have finally awoken. They still have to win 2 more. It wasn't perfect, but the early game was good, Rude Dude. The mid game had left a lot to be desired, and it was really the mistake of RNG that was the one that got it done. But this is what happens when you have the veterans versus the young players. Situations like this will happen.
No, absolutely. And this is a real learning point for RNG as well. I think both of these teams can take something from this game.